story in the week is Daly Cherry Evans deciding to leave Manly. Have you got any interest in signing him?
Look, we haven't discussed it, is the first thing. It's pretty big news for the game, obviously. It's pretty rare that a player like that comes on the market, especially at this time of the year. So we haven't discussed it as yet. So, but as a business, you've got to look at it as well. So I'd say we'll get to that when we know a bit more info, though, about when decisions get made as well.
It can be obvious to some people, but to you, just what has impressed you so much about Daly during his career, but also in his later years, he just seems to be getting better?
Yeah, I don't think I need to sort of talk about how good a player he is. I think we all know how good he is and how dominant he's been in many arenas. So, I think it's pretty clear for everyone to see that. It'd be interesting to see what direction he wants to go over the next few months.
How important is someone like Daly for clubs like the Roosters, who've got a good crop of halves coming through? Not only can he play on the field, but he's got so much knowledge to impart to teenagers.
Yeah, that's the thing is, we've set on a path. I think people were waiting for us to do something last year, and we've been pretty clear about what we've been doing with our players and our halves, and we're pretty clear about the development of them, and that doesn't change. So we're still heading on that path. Nothing's changed.
Robert, how flexible do clubs have to be? Like, look back at 2018. I can't imagine people thought Cooper Cronk would leave.
Yeah.
But he comes here, and 2 years later, you guys win 2 competitions. It's an easy parallel for some to make, but is that how you could look at it? Like, Fred didn't think that this guy would be on the market, but here we are.
Look, I think the thing for us is we know which direction we're headed. We know where we're headed with that. You do have to be aware of movement and understanding all that, but a lot of things have got to happen, and we don't know anything around, all of those things. So, we've got to keep clear on our goals as a club and a team, and we're going to keep going on that, and then you've got to be adaptable along the way as well.
Robert, does something need to change about, that we're talking about this again in Dylan Brown's situation just recently? A transfer window, I know Wayne Bennett came out and said something along those lines, and we're early in the season, but all everyone, what we're talking about is the media and the contract situations.
Yeah, I think we've got to get better at analysing the game during the week. Would be nice as well. That would help. I know we've become pretty interested in the off-field. Is dominating all bits of media now. So that's going to cause some interest, and therefore the movement of players is always going to cause interest. So tightening that up would be of assistance, but I think the Players Association and the NRL have got to be clear on what benefits both players and the game and come to a better solution.
Not to put you on the spot, because I know it's a massive issue and nobody's really been able to solve it, but is there a better way to do things than what we're doing things right now if it's not a transfer window?
Well, the transfer window's always been there, and people have always said it takes too long to move players around the country on a short transfer window. And so we have to be really careful with the length of time that we give players. But we are a professional sport. We're in entertainment. That's our lives for a player for a 10-year period or less. And often it's better for clubs, all different supporters. To tell you the truth, I'm really interested in whether we actually love this or whether we don't. I think that's a really interesting question. People are saying they want a transfer window so we don't have this circus going on at different times. But then we'd have to talk about the footy. Are we prepared for that? So I'm unsure whether we really want it or not as a game because of the amount of interest in it and the amount of discussion that we have around it. I think it'd be better for clubs and players. Would it be better for the supporters in the game? What would we have talked about this week? It would have been an interesting week.
What about you, mate? Like, you were an NFL fan,
Yep.
So putting your fan hat on,
Yeah.
Would you prefer footy or soap opera?
Footy. 100%. I would always choose footy. I think we should talk about the game. There's so much good stuff that goes on in every single game. And if we looked at that and championed that, they do a really good job of championing the on-field and the stars in that moment. We champion the stories off the field a lot more, around the players that are on the field, but I think a little bit more on field. If we left space for that a little bit more with talking about performances in games and how the games are played, how teams play the game, I think that'd improve a bit.
In terms of like when you look at someone like Daly who's just turned 36 and sort of feels like an evergreen and the rest of it, does it need to be more consideration? And I know this is something as well that's come in the past, but some sort of way to help clubs, whether it's salary cap dispensation, to keep those guys who are one-club players who are defying the odds, and which we might see more often because of the advancements in medical science and sports science.
Yeah, players will get older. I think we've seen it in all sports. Players will get older. Every 5 to 10 years we'll see a generation. I think the great Steve Menzies, I was lucky enough to coach him. I think he was 37, 38 when I coached him. And as preparation and recovery improves, we're going to have players that are going to play longer. So, changing the perspective as far as I won't go into what clubs can do. There's enough there already for long-serving players, but that could possibly increase.
Steve played more than 300 games, and that Butcher plays his 150 this week. There's a segue.
Yeah.
He's back. Great journey. I can remember him in the under-20s. He was an offload machine. A lot of tackles. His game's evolved over there. Can you just talk a little bit about his journey?
Yeah, 150 games. He captained the 20s team to the premiership in 16, and then he played in our 19 premiership. He's played anywhere from, I think he played hooker in one game, but back row, lock, front row. He's pretty elusive. He's got quite a fair bit of power, but he also is one of our technicians in defence. So he's been really key to the way that we've played over the course of, end of 2016, so 8 years. And there's a lot to go in Butch.
2 millions with him and Lindsay
Yeah.
on the bench. But does your game change at all with Keanu Kinney coming out? Like, he's quite a unique fullback.
Yeah.
Really speedy, smaller guy. Obviously, I think Jalen DeGroot's in now.
Yeah.
Change things for you.
Yeah, all respect to De Groot coming in, and then but Kenny's had a great start. He's been such a good player for him. It doesn't change the game, the style, but awareness of different skill sets between De Groot and Kenny's key.
Just on Lindsay, is he all good? Like he just missed out last week?
Yep. Yeah, he's good. He's ready to go. So he's trained fully since Monday. So it's good to have him back in.
Dom Young, is he good to go? I think he's raised on his knee or something I saw earlier.
No, he's fine. Ready to go. All right. Thanks.